took me back to 2001 tonight.
It did.
2001 Grand Buffet, Dorian Three.
BLEUBIRD dreadlocks.
BLEUBIRD dreadlocks. And you guys
Incredible.
You guys put up with me.
You know? We enjoyed it.
You not only enjoyed it, but I was like, do you guys know soul?
We did. You said yes.
I was like, your DJ is the same DJ as Sage's DJ.
I believe you said that as well.
Did I say that?
I don't know.
That's fucked up.
You may.
The sky like he drank that seed dry. He filled his song with tortured sounds of that gospel.
My favorite story about you is jump up to 2006. Blue is on the Warped Tour. Astronautilus. Immortal Technique. Ill Bill. 2004, that is? Nonfiction?
Or 5.
One of those, 2001, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. I jumped on for a couple shows, and my first show was in Orlando, I believe. Yeah. And so I play, Andy plays, Blue plays, Immortal Technique gets on stage. What does he say? No more pussy rap on this stage today. And we were all like, motherfucker. And you walked directly up to him, and he was all like, and you were like, what the fuck are you trying to prove out there? And he had nothing to say to you. Nothing to say to you. That was the greatest.
Oh, yeah.
I will always remember that. You were immortalized. I always remember it.
I don't have anything to say.
And he's been a dickhead ever since.
Yeah, I remember it, and it was more just, it was confusing.
It was confusing.
Like what?
For you.
Really? Like what the fuck? You know what I mean? I think after for me it was confusing. I mean, fair enough. I see where he's coming from.
I mean, we're not the toughest looking dudes.
But at the same, I mean, he's got. I mean, there's some truth to what he said, but not really.
It left my face opaque.
I think whenever there's this lack of ability to truly understand another person's situation, right? You jump on a tour where we are all fucking gross and dirty from driving in Honda Civics and Honda Elements
in like
all across this fucking country.
Drives.
No air conditioning, no seat belts, and we didn't have any seat belts because my seat belt was broken, and we decided that if one of us was gonna go, we were all gonna go. First time I ever went out to do any shows was in 1999.
The first time I ever saw you was on the Anticon iMusicCast.
Wow, really?
Remember that?
Yeah. That's, you know, it's a funny story about that. The only reason I was even there is because I was supposed to be doing an album with Mood Swing 9.
Okay.
And we ended up doing one song in a month. I left New Hampshire and I had moved to California for a month, and I was out there for it. So Soul had said, you know, you should play this thing, and I was gonna have to do it by myself. And then Shalem did a show with Sage, I guess, and made enough money. This is back in 2001, where he made enough money to go online, buy a plane ticket that night, jumped on a red-eye and flew to San Francisco and DJ'd for me.
Wow.
And then flew back the next day.
Shalem B, the hero.
MF Shalem.
When we caught up with ADM in Burlington, he had to drive back through the night to Keene to take his wife to the airport at 6 in the morning. But he still got in the RV and chopped it up with us. He's one of my oldest friends in the rap game, and we hadn't seen each other in a few years. We had a lot to talk about.
And it was long ago, when the death of winter stole our name, when the money that we made paid to keep the family sane. These hours of injustice ran among us like taxes and rats, looking to live in our pockets and homes and habitats. Streets paved with gold were melted in soul beatings from pale police that left us tired and old.
Now that you've taken a break, you're back in the limelight, you're ready to face fame.
I'm ready to do it.
Ready for it.
We're gonna do it real this time. We're not holding back. I'm ready to accept you, fame. What I want to do is no different than what anybody else wants to do who plays an instrument. I want to keep creating music, be able to pay my bills, support my family, and just stay on the road. Make sense. I feel like This new album it's very different, I think, than anything else that I've ever done. And it's got, somebody put it to me that I paid attention to melody in a different way that I hadn't before. You know, there's really no sad girl songs on there. It's a concept record.
What's the concept?
I'll let everybody figure that out.
Okay.
themselves, you know?
Fair enough. And is this the record you started making in Orlando with Da Vinci?
I did. I started making it with Slow Twisted Sound, who are Alex and Swammer. They're all over it and like doing different little pieces. Da Vinci didn't end up doing anything on it. But yeah, it's produced by Shalem, my father Shalem, and Maker, and Knobs does one. I made 2 or 3 beats, and this guy, I think he's got 3 or 4 different names, but Chadio is what he goes by. Grinch, Chadio, Chad.
Each beat he just gives a different name.
Bocephus.
Bocephus.
No. So it's all familiar people that I've worked with before. And
just a new formula.
New formula is, I mean, it's a ton of live instruments. You know, and I played a lot of percussion on there. Like, I got a lot of drum tracks from people, and I just added stuff onto it. And I focused on other music. I was listening to a lot of more roots music, you know, like a lot of old gospel, like stomp and clap, blues.
I can see a little bit of that in your show tonight.
Yeah.
Somebody keeps saying, never set the sin and all the hell and don't ever ask.
Gentry and I, who and am I still on there? All right.
Nice placement, by the way.
Thank you.
Right on.
So Gentry, who is in a band called Moving Pictures, she decided to come up and sing with me and help me out and be my road dog, and you know, respect.
I thought you went to Orlando and made the record with Da Vinci and scrapped it.
I did.
Oh, you did do that.
I went. Yeah. So what I did was I went down and recorded. I thought it was done. And then when I got home, I had one more song to do, which is it's called 31 Songs, and it is it's a story about Robert Johnson, but it's also a dedication to Mr. Dibbs, who his album's called The 30th Song, because Robert Johnson only has 29 recorded songs. That's all they. In total, so Dibbs did a record called The 30th Song, and he reconstructed some stuff. Now this song's about Robert Johnson. It's called 31 Songs.
You mean Mr. Dibbs?
I got the beat. So from this dude Chad, he's in Houston, he sends me the beat, and I liked it so much that I decided this is when I thought I had the album done.
Finished, yeah.
Basically. So he sends me the beat. I like it so much. I write to it, and I decide I want to add this to the album because I think it would really work. That's where I fucked up. Or made the best decision ever. I go into the studio, call my friend Ben, who was in the band Moving Pictures. He was also in a band called Death to Tyrants. So I call him up because he has a studio, and I go say, can I record this here? So I did, and I loved it so much, I decided to completely redo the album all on this one mic. And in, kind of the middle of the woods in Jaffrey, New Hampshire, at Loud Sun Studios.
Before the darkness came, devil born in gospel say, pointing death like he's so brave, saying anointed let that grave.
It doesn't matter. You can put your record out yourself, but it doesn't fucking matter. If no one's gonna hear it, it doesn't matter. So I still believe that there's a system in place that makes sense and works, which is you connect with a label, some sort of label, who has backing but also has the ability to spread the word, be it through, press, getting your records in stores or digitally. And I think you can make that happen. I still have faith. I still have faith, like Johnny Cash, being brought into the studio to record a fucking song and then goes on tour with Elvis. Like, I think that shit can still happen, and I believe in it. And if anybody thinks it's naive, they probably make pussy. When we were playing the Warped Tour, and every day before we'd start, I would look at DQ and be like, see all those people? They don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about me. They don't give a fuck about him. They don't give a fuck about any of us. So let's go.
Let's do it.
Like, let's do it. Like, they don't give a fuck. And he'd always have a cigarette. I'd be like, go ahead. He never said anything. He was never like, yeah,
speak anyway.
fuck you,
He was just like,
whether there was 3 people there, if you're fucking 3,000, it doesn't matter. You adjust your show for the crowd that you're in front of, and you give people a good show. Don't be a fucking pussy about it. Just play a good fucking show. You know?
Yeah, I do.
I know you do because you do the same thing, but that's just the way that it goes. If you can't play in front of 3 people, how are you gonna ever play in front of 3,000 people?
Very true.
You know, like there has to be that way, and that's where I come from. So regardless of how I look, or regardless of like, you know, all the super fucking rappers who are coming out now, you know, all have glasses and they're all white and they're all sad too. I mean, I grew up listening to Cool G Rap, and Cool G Rap wasn't fucking sad about anything. But I got sad when I grew up, and girls broke my heart, and that shit took over for a while. But but no matter what, it's raw. Like it has to be raw, and it doesn't matter what you're doing. It just has to have soul, and it has to be raw. And if you don't understand that, you have no fucking business being involved in hip hop or in music. If you don't understand having soul, it doesn't matter. And on that note, fuck y'all.
Fuck y'all.
I got a question.
From the soul to the earth, with ghosts in the dirt. Names haunted from birth unless we can't search. But as a child, the wild blood erupted in my veins. Staring at that dark